Rat on your head, poison on your face, teeth bought from the poor, rotten meat on your plate. Luxury wasn't comfort, it was performance. It was enduring the unbearable and calling it class. And the most bizarre part? None of this was hidden. It was the norm. The entire elite living in a cycle of perfumed self-destruction. This isn't a horror movie. It's 1700, my friend. And now I'm going to show you the luxuries that today would make you gag and shiver. The legend of the rat in the wig isn't made-up nonsense. It had basis. Think about it. Wig, half a meter tall, real hair, fake hair, wire structure, everything stuck together with lard, pomade, animal fat. And you didn't take it off every day. Weeks, sometimes months, just sitting there on your head. Heat, humidity, rancid grease, the smell, unbearable. But the worst part? The wig became a nest. There were reports of pests living inside. Lice were nothing, fleas, mites, and yes, there's record of bigger creatures getting in. Rats? Hard to prove, but the image stuck because the wig was a habitat. And the bigger the wig, the more status you had. Look at the irony. You wanted to impress, carrying a rotting ecosystem on your head. And that leads us straight to the fuel of this tragedy. To keep the wig in place, you used grease, pork lard, beef tallow, oil-based pomade. Spread it all, shape the hair, let it dry. Done. Your head became a rancid candle. Now multiply that by weeks without washing. The smell? Think of old meat left in the sun. Solution of the time? Throw perfumed powder on top. Flour, starch, cheap essences, total white. The powder disguised the stench for a few hours. Then everything came back. The rancid, the acid, the sweat mixed with spoiled grease. And you stayed there at the party, smiling. Because taking off the wig to wash? Unthinkable. Too much work, ruined the look. So you kept it and rotted with class. And the itching? Oh, the itching was guaranteed. Imagine, head full of old grease, lice running free, sweat dripping underneath. Hellish itching. But you can't just stick your hand in there and ruin everything. Solution? Accessories. There was something called a head scratcher. Thin rod, long, with a carved tip. You'd stick it under the wig and try to hit the spot. Did it help? A little. Did it solve? Never. Because the problem wasn't just itching, it was infestation. And you pretended everything was fine. Straight posture, smile on your face, rod hidden in your sleeve. Scratching became social performance. There's even reports of people developing technique, scratching slowly, discreetly, without drawing attention. Luxury wasn't comfort, it was enduring hell and looking calm. And if the wig was disgusting, the skin under the makeup was even worse. Porcelain white skin was the standard. The paler, the richer you looked, because it meant you didn't work in the sun, didn't get dirty. To achieve that, you put lead on your face. That's right, lead oxide, mercury, arsenic. Poison straight on the skin, every day, layer after layer. The result? Smooth, white, perfect skin. For a few months. Then it started. Cracks, sores, dark spots. The skin literally rotted. And what did you do? Put more makeup to hide it. Some people lost pieces of skin, holes in their face, but they didn't stop, because stopping meant admitting the damage, and damage in the elite had to be disguised, always. And that's where the patches come in. Moosh, patch, beauty spot, little black velvet ball glued to the face. Seems innocent, right? But the function was double. First, fashion. They had shapes of moon, star, heart. Position indicated status, intention, even political opinion. Second, hiding. Smallpox scar, stick a patch.
Syphilis hole? Patch. Stain from makeup poison? Bigger patch. The more patches, the more obvious there was damage underneath. But nobody talked. The rule was to pretend it was just style. Some people wore 5, 6 patches at once, one on the chin, another on the cheek, another near the eye. Beauty was literally covering holes. And the smell? Well, you didn't wash your face every day, because full bath, luxury that barely existed. Water on the body was seen as dangerous. The belief, open pores let disease in. So full bath, rare, sometimes once a year. And the rest of the time, perfume. Lots of perfume. Literally drenched your body, clothes, hair, skin. Amber, musk, heavy floral essences. The goal wasn't to smell good, it was to hide the stench. Because without bathing, the body accumulates. Old sweat, skin oil, dirty clothes residue. You became a layer of filth covered in perfume. And the perfume didn't eliminate anything, just masked it.
Result? Chemical smell mixed with body odor. Nauseating. But at the party, everyone was like that. So you got used to it, or pretended. And when your bladder was full, well, that's when it gets even more complicated. Think of a gala party, huge palace, hundreds of people. Where's the bathroom? There wasn't one. Versailles, for example, ultimate symbol of European luxury. 0 public restrooms. So what did you do when you needed to go? Improvise. Hallway, corner of the stairs, garden, curtain. There were reports of people relieving themselves behind doors, in decorative vases, in the corner of the hall itself. The smell? Catastrophic. Entire palace reeking of urine and feces. But nobody complained, because it was normal. The etiquette was, be discreet. That's it. It wasn't about hygiene, it was about not getting caught. And for those who wanted a bit more class, there was the portable chamber pot, which brings us to the next level of bizarre. Bordelot, chamber pot in elongated shape, made for women to use without standing up. You'd put it under your skirt, crouch slightly, and done. In the middle of the party, without leaving the hall. Sometimes didn't even interrupt the conversation. Afterwards, servant took it away. There was a male version too, less common, but it existed. The concept was the same. Don't waste time going anywhere. Handle it right there. And this was seen as sophistication, elite practicality. Think about it. You're at a ball, heavy dress, huge wig, tight corset. Stand up, walk, look for a place? Too much work. Better to piss right there and continue. Hygiene? Irrelevant. The important thing was to maintain the pose. And speaking of intestinal maintenance, the elite was obsessed with it. Intestinal washing was treatment, and it was social mania. Enema, liquid shoved up the rectum to clean the intestine. The elite did this with absurd frequency, sometimes every day. Doctors recommended it, fashion validated it. People were doing enemas before important events, to feel lighter, for internal health. That was the justification. Reality? Obsession. And it wasn't done in silence, no. There were reports of people receiving visitors while doing enemas, talking normally, as if it were afternoon tea. Because in the elite, bodily intimacy was different. Body was a project, constant maintenance. And if you thought that was the limit, there was a court position dedicated just to that, literally. In the English court, there was a position, groom of the stool. Translation, royal bathroom assistant. The function, accompany the king while he took a shit. Not a joke. It was a prestigious position because during that moment, the king was vulnerable, relaxed, and you, right there beside him, had access, could talk, ask, influence. Kings did business on the throne and on the chamber pot. The groom of the stool became a confidant, trusted man. Power didn't come from battle, it came from intimacy. And intimacy, in the elite, included shit, literally. There were people who competed for this position because being close to the king in his most intimate moment, political shortcut. And speaking of status through the mouth, there's another disgusting obsession. Sugar.
Sugar was a luxury item, expensive, rare, exclusive. So the rich ate sugar to show they could. Straight sweets, dessert every day, heavy pastries. Result? Ruined teeth, widespread cavities, black teeth, breath of necrosis. And this became a status symbol, because only the rich had money to ruin their teeth with sugar. The poor had no access, so rotten mouth was almost a medal. Look at the inversion. You destroy your health to prove wealth. And they didn't hide it. Some people even darkened their teeth on purpose to look like they ate sugar. Fake cavities to fake status. Luxury wasn't health, it was the appearance of power. And oral hygiene of the time made everything worse. Toothbrushing existed, sort of. They used cloth, stick, sometimes rudimentary brush. And toothpaste? Abrasive powder. Mix of salt, charcoal, ground brick, crushed oyster shell. You scrubbed that on your teeth every day. The goal was to clean, whiten. The result? Destroyed enamel, bleeding gums, sensitive, cracked, weakened teeth. Some recipes included acid, vinegar, urine. Yes, urine as a mouthwash was documented practice. The logic was whitening. The consequence was corrosion. And when the tooth finally fell, the elite had a solution. Horrifying. Lost your tooth? Buy another one. Literally. There was a human tooth market. Poor people sold, rich people bought. And it wasn't to make dentures, it was to implant, alive. The procedure: pull out the rotten tooth, get the bought tooth, freshly pulled from another person, shove it in your gum, right then.
No anesthesia, no sterilization. The idea was that the tooth would take. Sometimes it did, for a few months. Afterwards, infection, rejection, necrosis. But while it lasted, you had a new tooth, and you showed it off, because bought tooth was status. Proof that you had money to buy a piece of poor people. Macabre? Totally. Normal at the time? Completely. And if you think the mouth was the only place of torture, look at the entire body. Tiny waist was mandatory. The smaller, the better. To achieve it, corset, stays, tighten until nothing else fits. Compressed ribs, squeezed organs. Breathing, shallow, short. You literally couldn't breathe deeply. And the result was predictable: fainting. Women fainted at parties, events, dinners. And this was seen as delicate, feminine. Fainting became part of the aesthetic. You suffocate, fall, and they call it charm. There were women wearing corsets so tight they displaced organs. Liver, stomach, intestine, everything out of place. Permanent. Skeletal deformation. But the silhouette was perfect. And perfection was worth the pain. Always. Now the last one, food, which closes with a rotten golden key. The elite didn't eat fresh meat. They ate aged meat. They'd hang meat for days, weeks, until it was at the right point. What point? When it started to soften. Strong smell. Texture almost falling apart. Today we call that spoiled. Back then, they called it refined. Because fresh meat was poor people stuff. The rich ate high meat. The flavor? Intense, acidic, fermented. For some, unbearable. But you pretended to like it. Because liking rotten meat was sophistication. Educated palate. And if you complained, you were the one who didn't understand. There was also game hanging until maggots appeared. And they served just like that. Cooked with everything. Extra protein, they said. Look how far luxury went. You ate rot and called it exquisite. And that sums it all up. The entire elite living in a cycle of perfumed self-destruction. Today, you look back and feel nauseous. But they looked in the mirror and saw power. Because status was never about being well. It was about appearing superior. Even if that means rotting with style. Think about that next time you complain about some fashion trend today. At least you're not carrying an ecosystem on your head. Yet. If this video gave you chills, leave a like. If it made you gag,
share the suffering. And if you have the stomach for more rotten stories, stick around, because there's much more coming. Until next time.